Very warm welcome to the Trading Bell Show. Thank you so much for your valued company. My name is Maina Shege. Tonight, we look at two sectors, the banking sector and the manufacturing sector, speaking about what is lying in the future. We start with the state of the manufacturing sector from a commentary from the head of research, policy and advocacy at the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, that is Job Wanjohi. Many thanks for joining us, Job. So, Job, what is the status of the manufacturing sector and how are you as a sector reacting to this new news that we are seeing of the new introduction of the excise, duty? So from where you sit in, please paint for us a picture of what's happening.
Thank you so much. As far as the excess duty is concerned, it's being introduced, or the excess regime is being enhanced at the moment. There are various handles. For instance, from the manufacturing perspective, we have been grappling with various issues that are COVID-related. For instance, as far as our inputs are concerned, we have seen the increment on the cost of the raw materials by about 107%. Talk of the freight cost, how we bring our goods from Asia from Europe to country, when talking about importation of machineries, importation of the raw materials and intermediate products. We have seen an increment by 232% in the last 1.5 years. The exchange rate has deteriorated against importation of raw materials. But I would say it has been okay for exportation. But now we are a net importer of anything in this country. So depreciation by 7% in the last 1.5 years also has had some effect. Diesel, last 1 year, we have seen, and it's an input for manufacturing, the price increasing by almost 44%. So all these have been challenges that we are grappling with. And on top of it, now we have seen through the Finance Act 2021, the introduction of various excise taxes or duties. Like now we have 10% that has come on plastic, or another 10% has come on resin, 10% has come on super absorbent polymer that is used for making the sanitary pads and also the diapers for our babies. So 200 shillings, that is, or per kg, that has been introduced on chocolate. 25% excess duty on importation of fertilized eggs. And this is a raw material for some of the manufacturers who are making the one-day old chicks because we have deficiencies as far as this is concerned. Even when you're talking about the VAT, we have seen introduction of 16% on LPG, that is gas, and 16% also on the modern stoves that are being sold. We have seen also there is a circular that has been issued for inflation adjustment on specific rates of excess duty. So all these, and this is coming at 4.97%. All these was not anticipated by manufacturers, was not anticipated by the consumers, and it's going to have a huge effect on the manufacturing. It's going to have some huge effect also on the consumers. For instance, when talking about the 10% excess duty on plastic, even the bucket that we use at home is likely to fall within this bracket. So if you're going to buy a plastic bucket tomorrow, you find that there's imposition of 10% excess duty. For those who are doing painting of vehicles, they are painting homes, or they're making diapers, or they're users of diapers, baby diapers, and sanitary pads. The 10% excess duty on resin, this is going again to affect them, though we have had a discussion on how the super absorbent polymer that is used for making these diapers is going to be exempted through a code. So it's a dire situation, and we're looking at how some of these excess duties can be reversed through an amendment bill as soon as possible, because even you have seen some cases whereby some manufacturers or consumers have gone to court seeking injunction over some of these excess duty that are punitive.
Okay, I know that's a very valid, or a very nice way of painting at the picture. So my quick and final question and comment from you is, of course, you've mentioned some specific products that are definitely bound to see an increment in terms of costs. That means definitely affecting the cost of living. So what's the way forward if it goes by and if it passes? I know you're still trying to push hard, but maybe I don't know whether it's too late. By the way, is it too late? So what are we expecting now?
Two options or three options. One is to seek amendment of the Finance Act 2021. Fortunately, this can only happen after 6 months. That's one way that we're looking at how this can be reversed. The second is we have the budget proposal going on for the budget proposals for year 2022-2023. This is supposed to be submitted by end of August 2021. That's another way that we are trying to use and see whether it can be amended through the Finance Bill 2022. But again, we cannot wait until 2022 for the reversal of this, because already is going to be punitive on manufacturers and also on consumers. Because on manufacturers, because there's a consumption tax, is going to hurt them as far as the market expansion is concerned. For consumers, is a question of weakening purchasing power. And then the third one is where we cannot get some window. Manufacturers and even some consumer bodies are willing to head to the court of law to seek injunction over implementation of some of these excess duty. So I would ask the government to listen to the manufacturers and also the consumers and look at how some of this can be changed in a more diplomatic manner.
Absolutely. Many thanks for your time, Job, and we really wish you well, especially from us, the consumers, who are going to be hit hard by these effects.
Thank you so much, Maina.
And right now, I am joined by the head of research, Jengis Capital, and of course, a research analyst as well, Ndanu Kataguta from Jengis Capital as well. We're going to help us understand a few interesting things. First of all, let me just get a comment from the head of research. I don't know, Chachi, from what you have heard from Job Wanjohi, what's your comment on the state of the manufacturing sector, in line especially with what we've seen in the introduction of the excess duty?
Thanks, Maina Chege, for having me on the show. Yeah. I absolutely agree with Job's comments around the negative impact that the manufacturing sector is expected to, the negative impact that will be on the manufacturing sector based on these taxation moves. Look at the manufacturing sector as a whole. This is one of the big four agendas item, whereby the goal was to increase the share of manufacturing from 7.5% where it was before we got into the big four agenda focus, and to 15% share by the end of next year. But right now, where are we? We are even lapsed back. So where we are manufacturing, and then you throw in this, what I could call a monkey wrench of additional taxation measures, that is just increasing the costs for the sector. But having said that, specifically for the excess duty that has been proposed, that is there. Basically, for the excess duties, there are two ways to look at it. One is where there is what they call ad valorem, in the sense that they just give it, say, for a unit of motorcycle, they just give it a specific amount that needs to be paid as excess duty. That's around 11,000 shillings. But now, if the other side for excess duty is now the percentage, whereby what we saw even with the mobile phones or even the bank loans, 20% increase in excess duty from 15% to 20%. So those are the two different ways of looking at the excess duty. But there are those specific items that, because their rates are not a percentage, these are the ones that are now given the inflation adjustment every year. So the logic is they look at the average inflation in the previous financial year. So that is between July last year up until June this year. That's the around 4.97%. That's the average. And it's supposed to come into effect by 1st of October. So there are those specific products like tobacco, beer, spirits, juices, and other soft drinks that they don't have a specific excess duty. So those are the ones that now the inflation rate of adjustment kicks in. But now KRA has brought in this issue of people having some stakeholder engagement with manufacturers, with other stakeholders, just to get their views on that. And I remember last year when the same views were picked by the specific stakeholders, most of them were not for this excise annual inflation adjustment, because it's just an additional cost on their production cost, and also they end up passing the costs to the consumers. So that obviously is the thing that we are seeing playing out this time round. This time, but now the thing with this process this time round is that Parliament will have the final nod. In as much as KRA will put a legal notice around 1st of October just to effect those inflation rate of adjustments, Parliament has close to like 28 days either to accept or reject those particular, that particular legal notice by KRA. So it could go either way, but more likely than not, if there's noise that is out there, I think even Parliament might reject it. So that was one of the positives that came out from Finance Act 2020, Parliament having the final say.
Hopefully, and we hope that indeed business people, especially in the manufacturing sector, and this even cuts across in the SME sector, will certainly have a breather. So it's over to you, Parliament. Genghis Capital has released an amazing report, the Banking Sector Report 2021, and we are more than curious to know what is the state of the banking sector in the country. But right now we take a break. We'll be right back to discuss that and the findings they have.